All right, guys. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about U.S. banking while you're in here in the Philippines, or if you're living here in the Philippines, or even traveling to the Philippines. Some things you got to kind of be aware of, because I just kind of ran into like a little bump along the road right now recently with my banking in America. One of the first things you got to do is you got to notify your bank wherever you're at, U.S., Germany, Switzerland, Australia, wherever you're banking at. When you come here and you plan to use, say, like a credit card or something like that, you got to notify your banks. One of the first things I did uh, back in the States before moving over here is I notified my bank. I told them, listen, I'm moving to the Philippines. Um, I'm going to be using, say, I write checks into my account here. That's how I do my banking. Um, Once a month, I write a check, clears through my bank, takes like 27 days to clear. So they're aware of that. But you have to notify your bank, let them know that you plan to spend quite a bit of time here. And like I said, if you're using a credit card, let them know that you're using it. So I did it that way. Um, I think the first time I used my ATM card here, my debit card to withdraw money, um, it wouldn't allow me. So I actually came home and called them and said, hey, here's what's going on. And they said, yes, the system recognized that a transaction was being done overseas, so it blocked that, and it basically forced me to call the bank to verify that it was me, which is good. You can't get mad, you can't get angry, because you know what? They're looking out for you. Make sure that that is you using your card. Make sure that your card wasn't stolen, somebody else was using it. So I ran into that problem. The first time I went to use my debit card to remove money out of an account or to get money out of a bank here. But simple, call them, they cleared everything up. Another thing, if you're gonna be over here a long time, make sure you set something up to where you can call back to the States. There's so many ways now. I think it's Google Voice. I set that up back in the States before I moved here. So I can just use Google Voice. I can call the bank. I can call anybody back in the States using Google Voice. Doesn't cost me a penny. You can use your Philippine cell phone here and you can call back, but you guys know as well as I do, between pushing this number and pushing that number and waiting and being on hold, it can run up a bill here real quick. It could eat up a lot of your pesos. So that's another thing I would suggest, setting something up to get to where you can call back to where you're from without costing you anything. So I did that. But like I said, I had that one problem when I first got here. I also do online banking. I go onto my bank account here online. I can check money being deposited. I can check money being withdrawn. I did that. Never had a problem with it. I don't have any bills back in the States, so I don't need to pay anybody. I do have one credit card that I occasionally use here. So I go online on my bank account and I pay that through my online banking here. I kept a bank account open back in the States for the simple reason I cannot get direct deposit into my Philippine bank account here. Now, I'm not saying every direct deposit, however you get it, will do that or won't do that. I know mine won't give me direct deposit to my Philippine bank account. So I left that bank account open. Plus, I didn't want to draw all my money out of my bank account back in the States and put it here in the Philippines. I look at it as, you kind of want to keep that there, for whatever reason, emergency reasons, whatever. So I never deposit or I never withdrew every cent out of my account, put it over here. But if you want to do that, that's up to you. I mean, you can do it. Another thing, here's what brought me to do this video. I've been online banking, like I said, ever since I've been here. Go online, check my deposits, my withdrawals, everything like that. The other day I went onto my bank account and had me enter my information to do my online banking account. And it brought up this page and it said, this is a one-time verification. What they wanted to do was send me a message through my telephone number that I had back in the States, my cell phone. They wanted to send me a verification code that I had to input into the system to allow me to continue. That phone no longer exists. I don't have that phone. I haven't had that phone for 2.5, almost 3 years now. So I called up the bank, of course, phone tag, enter your numbers, enter this, enter that, get put on hold. That's why I say make sure you have a connection back to whatever country you are, or you will suck up a lot of pesos on your phone, Philippine phone. So anyways, I finally got through to who I needed to talk to, explain the situation. I no longer have that telephone number. I have a Filipino telephone number. They basically said, we can't put that telephone number into our system because it's international. So what we'll do is we'll email you a verification code. I'm like, cool, no problem, we can do that. Now, listen, this is almost 40 minutes of being on hold and getting supervisors and getting the proper people and the proper connections and answering multiple questions. I'm like, great. So all of a sudden, click, disconnected. I'm like, call back, go through the system again, the processing system, and verifying my information and everything. Bring the next person up to speed on what's going on. Okay. So they're okay, we'll get you over to that department. They get me over to the department. Okay, sir, can I put you on hold again? Okay, no problem. They put me on hold. Click, disconnected again. Now I've gone another 30 minutes on hold. It doesn't pay to get angry, to get mad, to get upset, to the next time you call, take your frustration out on the person that's trying to help you out. Call back again the third time. Process again. And at this point, it's like, what can you do? Me, I kind of laugh about things, and the operator, can I help you out? Yes, you can help me out. Can we put you on hold? Oh yes, let me listen to that lovely music again. See, I think what they do is when they put you on hold, first of all, if they, I guess, sense a tone of anger in your voice, I know a lot of call companies will do this, or a lot of companies do this. They'll put you on hold, they play that soothing music, trying to calm your nerves down. Well, I kind of made it kind of like a joke. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I love to listen to your beautiful music again and stuff. And anyways, finally, 30 minutes or so later, finally, I got what I needed. They were able to unlock my banking account to where I could go online, and now I can see it and everything. And I even told the fellow at the end, because you get a different guy every time you call, and you're not going to get the same one unless somebody gives you their specific, their specific line extension, then you'll get that same person. So we got done and everything, and I said to the guy, I said, buddy, you need a raise. I said, you know what you're doing. Because some people, you throw them a curve because, hey, I live in the Philippines now, I don't have that number, and they're not quite sure what to do because you're one out of thousands of people that they're dealing with, but you're that one guy that has that special need or whatever that the average person can't handle, so they got to bring in supervisors. But you know what? Like I said, there's no need to get upset or mad. That is one of the things I have definitely come to. One of the things that I've learned here, and it'll force you to learn here. If not, it'll drive you nuts. To just accept things, be patient. Don't get upset. Don't get mad. This is not the Philippines is not the United States. Things don't come quick. They don't come, right away like back in the States, wherever you're from. So learning the patience here has, helped me out, I think, with this call. But yeah, like I said, these are some of the things you run into. And I know there's people that live here and they bank different than I do. They have a system, the way they get their money from the States to the Philippines. Everybody has their own way. That is how I do it. That's how I do my banking. Then what was nice was the operator said to me, we have a bank. Your bank is here in the Philippines. I said, it is. He said, yeah, we have one branch here. And I asked him, where is it at and everything. And he told me, he said, it's in Manila. And I said, great. I said, I guess I can go down there if I ever have like a real major emergency. And he said, yes. Because see, one of the things I wanted to do, and I didn't do this because I didn't know about it prior to moving to the Philippines. I wanted to have it set up where I did a bank transfer. In other words, I could go online, transfer my money from my bank account in the States to my BPI bank here in the Philippines, which my bank does allow that. The only problem is I had to go into the branch, set that up in the branch in the States before I came over here. And I asked the lady when I tried to do it, can I do it over the telephone? Can I do it through the internet? And she said, no, you are required to personally go into the bank. Well, I wasn't hopping on an airplane to go back to the States to get that set up. But now that I know my bank is here in Manila, I might take some time, run down there and set that up. But that's another thing. Check with your bank. Make sure you can do things like that. Another thing, like when I bank here, if I use my debit card to withdraw money out of an ATM here, which I don't, I only use it once or twice in an emergency. What happens is the bank here will charge me for the service. My bank back in the States will charge me an international transaction. My bank in the States won't give me the going peso rate here. So it wound up being, when it all said and done with, excuse me, like $20 US to process everything. So you can go that route, use your debit card here all the time. And if you don't have something set up or you're not using the proper banks, they'll hit you with a fee like that every time. But like I said, people do it differently. People bank differently here. I have a peso account and I also have a cash account here. With my cash account, I can write a check, deposit that into my cash account here. I cannot write a check for my savings account or checking account in the state that's the cash and deposit that into my peso account. It doesn't work like that. It has to be deposited directly into a cash account here. And like I said, my bank holds the check for 27 days, but I see it clear my bank in the United States, but the bank here, BPI, holds it for 27 days. I think BDO, is around 25 days. There's so many ways people do it here. What's nice about that is, if you have a cash account, now they require you to have, I think it was $500 US to open up that account. But what's nice about it is you can go in there, grab the cash you need, say for the month or whatever, however you do it, pull it out and get your peso rate on the street. You don't have to rely on the bank and do all that transferring of cash to bank, and because you'll get a better rate on the street than you will at the bank. But yeah, you will run into, like me, this is the first time in quite a long time I ran into this problem. And I'm sure there's people out there with other stories too. But yeah, these are the things, one of the things you got to think of when you decide to live here permanently. How are you going to do your bank? But yeah, like I said, this is the first time in a long time I had a problem. Like I said, I only had two problems. I did have one time with my credit card. Here's another thing I have set up with my credit card, my Capital One credit card. when I first used it, they locked me out too. So I had to call them, get verifications. I also set it up to where now they will send me an email every time saying, hey, a purchase was made. Is this you or wasn't it you? You want to do something like that too. Because if somebody gets a hold of your stuff and they start using it here, you're going to get notifications. Hey, it's being used. And if you're using it, okay, but if you're not, at least you're getting notifications. But anyways, like I said, I wanted to share that little bit with you guys. Like I said, people do it so many different ways. I wanted to show you the way I do it, explain to you the problems I ran into, and we will, go keep chugging right along. Pick up some bumps along the way, but you learn to overcome them here, and you just go with it. And you take it day by day, and never regretted it. Never once said, oh, I want to be headaches. Nope, never once did that. And like I said, oh, I need a drink of water. Figured I'd share that with you guys, and I guess until next time.